What's up, guys? It's your boy Shawn-jose from Majestic AF. This is our return after 2 weeks off. I got to see my family and friends down in Tennessee. Got to work on the merch, getting the merch out. And thank you for all supporting the merchandise and the hoodies. They all went out. They should be done as of right now. The new drop will be coming soon. And thank you, guys. It means the world to me for all the support. I took 2 weeks off to be able to get good guests and fucking bring more to the table for you guys. Thank you to everyone that took care of me down there. Dustin, Allie, thank you for giving me a place to stay when I was down in Tennessee. You know, Tyler, Lindsay, you guys are family. I love you guys. And tonight's guest, he's one of my boys from basic training from day one. He's a combat infantry vet, and he does a lot to reach out in investments, talk about Bitcoin, meditation, and stuff. He'll be on. I'm going to bring him on right now. This is Joe Rapisardo from Joe Rap TV. What's up, buddy? How you been?
What's going on, bro? How we doing?
Good, dude. I haven't seen you since basic training, bro. And you've been doing a lot of big things, dude. I've been following some of your podcasts, and you've been fucking killing it, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's been a while. I was literally just on Facebook right before this, and I was like scoping out a bunch of old photos of us from basic training, reminiscing on the days here.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since we've connected. It's probably like on video here. It's probably been we're in 2020 right now, so 11 years, 2009, 10 years, right? 2000, 2010.
Yeah. So what have you been up to since then? I know you got a deployment under your belt. All right. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Joe. Hey, Mandy. You can't hear me. Can you hear me, dude? Technical difficulties. Hold up.
He can't hear you at all.
No, Joe.
All right, 1 second. He heard you in the beginning, no?
Yeah. Can you hear me, dude? Joe?
I'm going to recall him. He was having a problem with his Skype.
Hey, bro.
No.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now.
Okay, word. So we'll start that over. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm still new at the Skype. So this is Joe Rapisardo for Joe Rap TV. He's one of my battle buddies for basic training. He's my homeboy since day one. We're just reuniting to help each other out, progressing our podcast. So, Joe, what have you been up to since I've seen you last?
Yeah, man. Since we saw each other last, we got out of basic, and I came back up here to CT. I was in the Rhode Island Guard, and then deployed in 2012 to Afghanistan. I was in Uruzgan province, Afghanistan, 2012. Banged out that deployment, came back, and then used the GI Bill benefits to go back to CCSU, and took advantage of the college life, that kind of stuff. Stepped back. I got real involved at that point with veterans up here in Connecticut. I ran the CCSU Veterans Organization. I was a president there. I was also a veterans commissioner in the city of New Britain here in Connecticut. Then after that, I graduated from Central, and then I started working for a manufacturing company up here in Connecticut called United Technologies Corporation. Did that for about 4 years. Had a bunch of my educational benefits left, so I decided to go back and finish my MBA, and I went and did that full time. And the last 2 to 3 years of my life, since I finished the MBA, it's been trying to figure out how to leverage the internet to create businesses online, make money online. I've been involved with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies since 2017. So learning about that industry. But, as we'll get into today, I think there's a lot to be learned. I think there's a lot that veterans could do, not just in like the stuff that I'm learning about, but in more of a leadership role, for kind of businesses and nonprofits and that kind of stuff. But it's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And that's the thing. I've been following a lot of your stuff, dude. And I think what you're doing is fucking amazing, and you're paving the way for veterans. I know it was hard for me when I got out to find purpose, and like this was like an out for me to like straighten out my head and get normal again. And I was surprised how people took to it, and just to be able to talk about things I didn't expect to be able to talk about in person. And it's awesome to be able to reach out to other vets who are paving the way. Like I reached out to a lot of guys from like Die Huggers. They're going to be on my podcast, and it's just great how vets are helping vets, man. Like we're a great community, and we have so many stories to tell. So like having us reunite is awesome, dude. Like it's a big thing to me, and I thank you for letting me have you on my podcast. You know what I mean?
Dude, thank you for letting me come on your podcast, man. I've been watching your podcast and stuff. Like, I really appreciate it. I'm about to buy one of those Majestic AF hoodies too.
Word. So
I've seen that merch, but a lot of the conversation that you guys talk about here is got to be talked about more. One of the things about kind of where society is going right now, I think, is that you don't hear too much about actually taking the time to focus on yourself, focus on the mental health, the mental well-being. And veterans are in the spotlight a lot because of, the fact that there is a high suicide rate, but a lot of the civilians now are going through the same kind of thing. So, the stuff I've been seeing from you guys has resonated outside the military community, even within the civilian community too.
Thank you.
So it's good stuff.
Thank you. So let's get into it, dude. Like, so educate me on some of this investment in Bitcoin stuff. Like, I used to think, tell you the truth, I was very naive to the cryptocurrency. And when it came out, I was like a huge person that thought like Bitcoin was going to be a bubble. And it's actually cryptocurrency paved the way. And like, it's actually doing great now.
Yeah, it's really, it's really gone through these phases of evolution into being accepted as, a real thing, a technology that actually works, and an actual looked at as money and like a store of value and currency. And Bitcoin, for those that don't know, it's a form of online money. The only difference is that it can only be used online. The benefits to it are that you can send money back and forth between people just like you could send a Venmo payment or a PayPal. But the difference is that unlike Venmo and PayPal, Bitcoin does all of it on its own as a piece of technology. Just like emails, when you send emails back and forth between each other, the actual email protocol does that on its own. Another benefit to it is that it's considered a deflationary currency, and that's because there's only so much of it that exists, kind of like gold, and why gold, silver, and precious metals have for thousands of years been saved by families, because there's only so much of it on Earth, and it's worth more in the future. So for the first time ever, we have this form of money that is scarce. So it means that as we save in the future, it will theoretically be worth more and more. So there's value in the future. And it's also very easy to send back and forth between each other. It's frictionless. You can send it anywhere around the world. And because the world is now kind of moving online and becoming, truly connected to the internet, it only makes sense that, form of online programmable money is kind of the next big thing. So, now we're in this realm where it's being accepted and adopted by a lot of the big hedge funds, a lot of billionaires. We're seeing Wall Street just got on board. PayPal just integrated it a month ago into their platform. So, it seems like that wave's coming, and it's because of what's going on right now in the global economy and with the U.S. dollar. The dollar's kind of coming to this last leg of existence here, it looks like.
So what would you suggest ways for vets and other people to start off getting into Bitcoin investing?
Yeah. So I would say the easiest. So I'd say number one, you understand that you can buy as much Bitcoin as you want. So some people kind of get stuck on seeing the big price of one whole Bitcoin. Right now one whole Bitcoin is around $19,400, and they think it's too much and they can't afford it. But you could buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. When you look at when you take a dollar, for example, a dollar can only be broken down to a penny, which is 2 decimal places. One Bitcoin can be broken down 100 millionth decimal places. So that's 9 decimal places. So you could buy a dollar's worth of Bitcoin. You could theoretically buy a penny's worth of Bitcoin. There's an exchange rate that exists. So you can buy Bitcoin at any time. The easiest ways that I tell people to get involved right now is to use the Cash App. The Cash App seems to be the most easiest way to me. Everyone has a Cash App in the United States right now. You can buy Bitcoin on the Cash App. There's also an application called Swan Bitcoin that you can use. And these I have references for these on my website too, joeraptv.com. But what I recommend and this isn't financial advice. What I recommend, but I have a financial background. I worked 4 years at doing corporate finance and FP&A. And how people normally save for their 401ks or their retirement savings plans or these kind of accounts is that you put money away every paycheck, that kind of thing. So it's every 2 weeks, money comes out of your paycheck, and then you put it in a little bit into your 401k. That's the best way to save Bitcoin, in my opinion. They call it dollar cost averaging. So you can go on the Cash App, and then you can go to at the bottom of the menu there to the right next to the stocks. You hit Bitcoin. You put in how much Bitcoin you want to buy, and then you can set a feature on there that says I want to buy it every week. I want to buy it every 2 weeks, every month. I would set it, forget it, boom, close your eyes, don't look at the price, and then as a millennial, as a veteran, wake up like 20 years from now, and you're going to be good to go.
Or so you think with this whole COVID and cities getting shut down, you think this is going to be the new pave? Like, you think this is going to be the new currency? You're banking on it. This is going to be the next big thing.
I think that right now, every country in the world they're creating these new digital currencies. So the United States right now, the Federal Reserve Bank is creating a digital dollar in the background. In China right now, they're creating a digital yuan. And they're doing this because the existing currency and the existing economy rests on a system that is coming to an end. So there's this race right now to create and adopt a new reserve currency of the world. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, as of like a month ago, called for a new reserve currency. So there's this race right now around the world to create a new currency, and Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency that was ever created. All of the digital currencies that you see now, no matter what you'll see, Ethereum, there's over like 2,500 other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin was the first. Its code is open source, so what that means is that you can take a copy of it and do whatever you want, make your own, and that's what all these other projects have done. But Bitcoin is the first, and it's been the most adopted. So now when I look around the world, I understand that Bitcoin was the first one that existed. It's not controlled by one government. It's not controlled by one country. It has a fixed supply of 21 million whole Bitcoin that will ever exist. And I'm watching every other country in the world racing to create their own digital currencies to kind of keep up with what's happening. And the way that it's looking now, at least in my opinion, and what the market is indicating is that Bitcoin will ultimately be gold 2.0, but for the internet. So yeah, I think that Bitcoin's going to be it's going to be probably one of the most important things going forward. And veterans need to know about it. And I like talking to our community because uh, like a lot of us, like I'm a disabled vet too, and a lot of the health conditions that we have and a lot of the savings that we're trying to put away now, we have to be able to afford expenses in the future. And if you could save in Bitcoin and it's going to be worth something in the future, then you're kind of setting yourself up as a security blanket going forward.
Yeah. So what got you into this? What got you motivated to educate yourself on Bitcoin?
I'm doing a little Rebel IPA tonight too, by the way.
Awesome.
I so I first learned about Bitcoin in 2017, and I was Googling a Halloween costume that year that I was trying to be, and Bitcoin was like the #2 trending theme for the year or something. And then that's when I was first like, oh, all right, what is this thing? And then I read about it real quick, and I kind of put it off. And then, so I was working at this manufacturing company over here in Connecticut, and then like a month later in 2017, it came up in one of the recruiting videos that they showed like us employees before they put out to everyone else, and it was like they flashed the Bitcoin logo when it was like in the video. It was like a promotional video. It was like, we have new ways of doing finance, and it was like flashing to like all these new financial technologies, and then it was like Bitcoin, and I was like, huh. I was like, why? Like, if I saw it again, and I was like, that's interesting how they put that on there. And then I asked, and they said, no, we don't plan to use it. But then then after that, I actually like took the time to just kind of read into it a little bit because I was in finance, and it made sense that I was like, oh, it's a cryptocurrency. Okay, well, let me read what this is. And then after I read the Bitcoin white paper, which I recommend everyone reads if they want to really learn about Bitcoin, you can look at it and Google it, and it's the actual first paper that was ever released by the creator of the technology. And you learn like what the power of this actual technology is, and if you know that the rest of the financial system right now exists off of the opposite of what this technology is, it's like holy shit, like this is something that's going to totally disrupt the system. And I believe in freedom for people, and I think we've all been stolen through inflation and a lot of the malpractice in banking and what we're seeing right now, right now in the economy. So I got super obsessed and I went down the rabbit hole, and then ever since I've kind of just been trying to teach people about it, share the word, and then now I'm trying to work in that industry at least. So yeah, that's what got me into it.
That is awesome, dude. Like I know from like myself, like it's very hard for me to like learn about finance and Bitcoin itself. So like anyway, like I've been watching your podcast stuff, and like I am invested in what is it? Is Ethereum or whatever?
Yep, Ethereum.
Ethereum, yeah. So like, because I always thought like everything I read about was like Bitcoin was going to be a bubble. Don't invest in Bitcoin, blah blah blah. But like I've been invested in that. I got a little couple shares or whatever you call it, parts of coins in Bitcoin. But like it's I feel like it's a huge gamble. Like,
how did you first hear about Bitcoin?
Oh, just everyone like that when it was coming out. Like I first heard about Bitcoin being used in the Silk Road to buy illegal drugs and guns and shit like that. Dude, like that's when I first heard about Bitcoin before it became famous. Like it was used on the Silk Road and stuff like that. But like that was originally the first time I heard about it.
Because I think back to the early days, and I was like, damn, we were in BASIC in 2010, and like it had just come out like a year before. And then like, so like that's when it was like a couple cents, like no one really knew about it. And then when I deployed in 2012, I still, because I felt like when I was in the Army, it was like, it's like you're not really focusing on what's necessarily going on around the world,
Yeah.
what everyone else is doing, because you're just doing whatever you're doing at that time. And, I was totally ignorant to whatever was even going on in society at that time. But I think back and I was like, damn, like I wish I paid a little bit of attention back then.
Just to buy it at such a cheap rate, man. You'd be fucking loaded right now, dude. Like, because now people see like what it's capable of being, and I think everyone that first invested like back then is making a killing now. Like they're got to be well off at this point if they bought in at an early age.
Yeah, there was a lot early on that was lost. Like Bitcoin didn't, from what I hear and what I've read, is it didn't really become the technology to actually secure it, like these what they call wallets, these hardware wallets. They're like encrypted thumb drives essentially that you can plug offline. Those didn't really come around until like 2013, 14, 15. So like even if you were buying it early on in the early days, the odds are that you had it stolen, you lost it, or you fucked up on like you sending it to a wrong address and lost it forever were pretty good. Like they say that there's like 4.5 million Bitcoin that have been lost forever in the early days. So if you think about it, from the 21 million that'll ever exist, there's really only like 16 million that will ever exist, or 16.5 million that will ever exist. And that's another point, is that like we think right now that those people that got in back then were better off, were good. They were super, super early. But like right now, we're still in this unique opportunity. The window is kind of closing, not extremely quickly, but like fairly quickly now that like the institutional money, the banks are finally like realizing what's going on. The average person still has an opportunity to like, get as little as they can right now, because in the next like 2 to 3 years or so, after Wall Street's already bought it, PayPal's been buying every single day. The price is going to be a lot higher. So I still think that like there's never not a good time to buy Bitcoin. Like you just always just got to buy Bitcoin.
So how much would you advise someone to start off buying? Like would you advise them to try to buy like a half a Bitcoin or to try another cryptocurrency that's starting up? Is there any other ones that you would advise people to invest in now at an early age of them starting up?
Yeah, so I'd say that like I think that people should, first of all, like definitely they should diversify whatever they're saving in. So if you're just saving in dollars, it's not the right thing. Like that's what they try to say is like, you got a little bit in stocks, you're holding a little bit of cash, maybe you're in something else. So I think putting money, in my opinion, into like Bitcoin or crypto makes sense at this point. What the banks are telling people now is like, I think I saw last week, one of the banks had said like 5 to 10% they're recommending to their clients of whatever money they're investing right now, like 5 to 10% of it. I tell people like whatever you're willing to lose, because it's your investment and that stuff. But like if you actually look into it and you research it and you make your own decision, I think it's good. What I tell people is like that whole like putting it like on the Cash App, if you set it for every week and you decide, I can afford $5 a week or $10 a week, or a couple bucks or 20, $50 a week or whatever, I would just set it and forget it. And I would just do it that way. And the benefit to that is you're always buying. So no matter if the price is going up or down, you're actually lowering the average buy price that you bought Bitcoin at that time. So that's kind of what I'd say is whatever you could spend weekly, and then whatever you want to like just put in a hole.
I know I use Coinbase which is like what I used to jump in and start investing
Yeah.
in Bitcoin, which is an awesome app. You can't invest in a lot of the other cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin's one of the big ones. Ethereum, and I used that to jump in. It was pretty easy to learn. Like, tell me all I do is fucking put my card information in, set it like you said, set it and forget it. And so like that's been working for me. I'm just still one of those people like I delete the app and I'll one every once in a while download the app again and check how my shit's doing. Because like I'm at that point it's like $5 here, $10 there. I'm not really focused on it, I guess you can say. It's what it is. But yeah, dude, like I think a lot of veterans should learn more about this because right now with where our society is, I think veterans and I feel like veterans it's hard for some to educate themselves and pick up because I know for me like I I still have my GI Bill. I I was too worried to use it because like I knew like I'm not really good at sitting in a classroom and learning. So like my main goal when I got out was just like to get on a farm and start working, and that's what I did for a while. It was very therapeutic to me. But like I know like sometimes now I read like a motherfucker, but like sometimes it's hard for me to sit and focus on like teaching myself a new trait or teaching myself something like investments or finance. So like it's a struggle with me, but I think like you're saying, I think a lot of vets should jump in this early and try to use it as their savings. Worst case scenario, you make a couple bucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I'm actually experiencing kind of a similar situation to you. It like I I left my corporate job and I've kind of gone through this transition over the last couple of years where, I don't really find like I went from like the infantry to an office, and it was like when it happened, it was kind of cool because it was like, I didn't want to get rained on anymore, and I wanted it to be warm in the winter and dry, and cool in the summer, and it was pretty tough for that transition, and then, I got in the corporate life, and then, I kind of backed out of that, and over the last like 2 years or so, just trying to like figure out like what to kind of do on top of like the other like online business stuff. So I'm trying to build up an urban mushroom farm right now. So like
Awesome.
you're saying you were on a farm,
Yeah,
so I want to
yeah.
hear more about the farm, dude, because like this is a mushroom hat that I got on right now,
That is
and
awesome,
that's
dude.
like so that's one of the things that I'm doing. That's like my hands-on thing, like during the day. Is I'm trying to like teach the crypto stuff online and then the online business stuff, and then I'm trying to like build out wraps caps mushrooms over here as an urban mushroom farm.
Word,
So
yeah. So like when I got out, I went to Heroic Foods by Laura Baresh. I'm pretty sure she screen wrote or had something to do with Paid in Full. But she had this house in Ghent, New York, that was all for veterans. She had no connection to veterans. She just wanted to get veterans and teach them sustainable living and get their hands back in the dirt to help with PTSD, depression, anxiety, etc. So I got into this program and they hooked me up with Liberty Farms, organic farm, and taught me about like agriculture and like learning. And then I kind of like jumped ship because I had a better opportunity to actually like work at a higher rank on a farm and they just get thrown into the fucking shit. So I was like, oh, that's so much better. I worked under this girl, Carol Ann, and she was like, dude, she was like 22 and she was like one of the best head farmers I've ever worked under. So educated on what she was doing with seeding and stuff like that. So like with that helping me, and I worked close with Grow New York because of Heroic Foods, which is all about like the urban farming in the city, helping the city kids, the city people learn how about farming, even though they don't have the property, how to like teach them how to like grow right in their little bit of yard they have. And so like it was pretty cool. Like I got to meet a lot of cool people. I have a friend. She worked in the farm, Deanna. She started like a whole like flower and vegetable farm on top of one of the schools in New York City. Like so, like
okay,
it's pretty cool to see how like farming can help out. And like for me, like it was a huge in a time where I was really didn't know where my life was going, where I was like lost in this path of finding purpose. Like it was a huge weight off my shoulders to put my hand back in the dirt, and like I feel like that's that's what some people need. Like I became one with like focusing on how to grow a plant over focusing on how to grow myself, and at the
Mhm.
same time I was learning from like taking my time with something that's going to produce and feed people to being able to realize like I need time too to grow. I need this time and headspace to learn for myself and to focus on me more, like more self care. Because at that time I was like right before that I was just not in the right headspace. You know what I mean?
I think even just being more hands on, like there's because in the infantry it was like you were always just doing hands on stuff. You're in the field, you're working outside, you're like exercising, and then like I found that when you go to a more stationary job, especially on the computer now, and the way that technology kind of exists and um, amends the mind is like it becomes very numbing, and it's like it's very like it's very disassociating, and it's weird, and it's like but when what I've experienced with because my neighbor on the corner from my house here and one of my best friends, I was in his wedding party. uh he has an acre farm, and I've been out there helping him, and that's kind of what got me interested in the mushroom farm and why I started the mushroom farm. But what I experience is just like doing a job that is hands on, and it's kind of gratifying to see like, oh, a hard day's work got me
Yeah,
this much. And I think for like a lot of military people, that's kind of what it comes down to, is the fact that like, sometimes we just weren't really molded to do a lot of these jobs that exist in like quote unquote normal society nowadays.
that's that's 100%. Like dude, like what is it? Like, this still drives me crazy. Is like I feel like I guess if you go to any other MOS, there's jobs that you can get or at least have a little heads up on outside. But like with the infantry, there's not really anyone looking besides contractors
Mhm.
for our set of skills. So it kind of like leaves us in this weight of the world of trying to get back into civilian life, try to find out where we fit in and stuff like that. So like with farming, it was just I was still breaking my back. I was still doing this like grunt work, like you said, and like it motivated me every day, like to get up. Like trust me, like sometimes I was very hungover working on these farms. like
Yeah.
like I just like any time in the military, I was pretty hungover,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
doing these
I'm with
runs
you,
and
man.
stuff. So like it made me feel at home, like I was learning. Like I can't like sit and like be behind a book and have someone be like, "Oh, read this," and that's what you're gonna learn. Like I need to have my hands on. Like I need to be like someone pointing out, "This is how you do this." So like with farming, it was amazing. So what do you mean by your hat is a mushroom hat? Is it made out of mushrooms?
Yeah. So this entire hat is made out of one kind of mushroom. It's called an amadou mushroom. And the amadou mushroom can be found on the side of trees all around the world, even here in New England and the United States. And it looks like a seashell, like a conch on the side of a tree, as do many other mushrooms. But this one specifically, the outside of that mushroom is hard, but when you cut away the shell of it, it leaves this felty interior to it. And
That is awesome.
for thousands of years, this specific mushroom has been used for uh, hats and purses. In World War One, in Eastern Europe, they used it as bandages on wounds. Uh, and my wife got this one specifically for me for my birthday this year. There's only like one village in the world left that knows how to make this stuff. They actually have like two families left, pretty much, and they're in Transylvania, Romania. You could find the company on Etsy if you just type in Amadou mushroom hat on Etsy. They're from Romania. I learned about it from a mushroom scientist, Paul Stamets. Um, So yeah, so she ordered it from Romania. It came in, but this Amadou mushroom, it's moist. It'll wick away moisture. It's antimicrobial. It breathes, so it's a good hat to wear in the summer. Um, it's like I said, it was used for wounds. One of the other cool things is it is slow burning. So they found a a mummified a mummy that's 5,000 years old. They call him the Iceman, and inside his gear, in a series of seashells, he had some of this Amadou mushroom, and they actually I've had this mushroom in strips, so it's true. If you burn it, it lights, and then if you blow it out, it'll burn like incense, really really slow though. So it's a smoldering mushroom, so it was used for that. But the biggest and coolest thing that I think with this hat is this mushroom right now is being used to help save the honeybee population.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
yeah, so right now the honeybees are going through what's called colony collapse disorder, and it's wiping out like literally up to 70 or 80% of the population of bees around the world right now. It's a big, big, big issue, and the way that these bees are getting this uh, actual disorder and dying is that there's a mite that injects them while they're in the larva with the virus. And the Amadou mushroom, though, they found out the sap from it helps the bees fight off the virus. It's a powerful antiviral, which is important, especially with what's going on right now around the world. So this mushroom right now, like honeybee farmers around the world right now, are literally putting Amadou sap inside their beehives, trying to save their bees from dying off from colony collapse disorder.
That is awesome,
So
dude. I like see. Like, I don't know much about mushrooms. Like I never grew up in a farm, so like that is awesome, dude. Like I never knew like mushrooms could be so important. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows about like the hallucinant ones, but like, and they're being brought into like medical stuff for
yeah,
anxiety and stuff. So
dude, mushrooms right now, mushrooms and Bitcoin, those are like my two like real focus points right now because I think that they literally solve every problem we're experiencing on Earth right now.
really,
Like literally. Bitcoin is solving the whole financial wealth inequality, like corruption kind of issue, the economy. And then mushrooms. So if you look at like the psychological stuff, so you brought up psychedelic science, that's right now we're seeing a massive wave into that. And I think that's going to continue. And that helps with mental health disorders. Medicinal mushrooms. So the Amadou mushroom helps bees with their immune systems. It also helps humans. There's other medicinal mushrooms like reishi mushroom, lion's mane mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms, maitake mushroom. All of these are edible mushrooms that are proven antivirals. So they're like superfoods for humans. So that's solving the whole like viral stuff. Um, in the environment right now, there's a thing called mycoremediation, where they're using fungi to remediate or clean oil spilled and polluted soil. So they have like a whole factory field of grass that was all polluted. They'll go and they'll spread sawdust and then mushroom mycelium, and then they'll wait a couple weeks. They'll come back, and the mushroom mycelium's all grown out throughout the soil. Then they wait a couple more weeks. They come back, and there's some mushrooms sprouting out of the ground, and it's growing the mushrooms. And then they'll wait a couple weeks to come back, and then what's left after the mushrooms dies is completely compostable soil. All the pollutants removed from the soil. So it's just it solves like the environmental, the mental health, the physical health.
so do you support it being used for mental health? Do you believe in microdosing and all the benefits that mushrooms, psychedelic
Yeah.
mushrooms do?
Yeah, one of the first things that actually got me into mushrooms was an article I read from the VA about psilocybin mushrooms and research that was being done on helping with PTSD and TBI and mental health disorders. So, yeah, I definitely believe in it, and the VA believes in it, and Harvard believes in it, and Johns Hopkins believes in it, and everyone right now believes in it, and they see it. So, I would definitely say that, uh, if anyone spends any time looking into it, or I actually provide a microdosing course as well on my Patreon that like people can subscribe to my website, joeraptv.com, and they'll be able to get the link for that. So, I present research that's in the public domain for people to explore on their own and kind of make their own decisions on what they want to do. But it's something that is being talked about and discussed and has a pretty bright future from what it looks like.
Yeah, dude. Like I feel like it's tough for me to believe the VA is gonna back it because they haven't really supported marijuana. You know what I mean? Like the VA is not giving out medical marijuana. So like I feel like the VA is gonna say they're gonna support this and they're gonna drop it when it gets too big. Because I think I still think the VA, even though it's sad to say, is very hooked on big pharma, and is not gonna pull away from giving the veterans, just doping them up and leaving them to go. You know what I mean? Like it sucks.
Yeah. What was interesting is like literally a month ago, the Navy SEAL Foundation donated almost $1 million to psychedelic LSD and psilocybin research for PTSD. That was the first real step we saw from the military on getting involved. And I think that I agree with you that like the VA is they're a government wing, so like they're gonna just do what the government is, whatever the regulations for the government are. But maybe we see the smaller organizations that have a big influence for veterans, like this Navy SEAL Foundation and other nonprofits and stuff that step forward and get involved with the research, and then maybe it comes in the limelight that way. But I think vets should definitely look outside the VA system. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
the VA is do like a lot of people. Like I try to preach about this. Like the VA is not always going to help you. They haven't helped a lot of people. So like, it's sad to say when I'm reading articles of vets taking their lives at VAs to make a point. I don't think the VA is in the best interest for veterans as right now. So like, if you guys, I tell everyone, if you're a vet, smoke marijuana if it's gonna help you. Microdose if it's gonna help you. Anything to help us fight the 22 a day, man. Like that's what drives me crazy is that we as a society, other people not than veterans don't really. They'll do the 22 push-ups to bring awareness, but they're not really caring about the 22 a day. Besides us veterans, focused on helping each other is the only way we're going to be able to beat this. And I believe the VA is not doing what they should be doing, and focusing more on mental health and getting these new soldiers the help they need. You know what I mean? Like it took me a while. Like I came out and I was, to be honest, I was addicted to a lot of drugs, man. Like I was just trying to get numb the pain and like my depression and stuff. And now I'm proud to say clean and sober, but like it took me a while to realize like I'm not just this fucking dude. And honestly, like the VA was the first one to like start like making me do pills and shit. Like they were the easiest way to get it. Like all I had to do is go to the VA and say my back hurt, and I was getting opiates. You know what I mean?
And I had a similar experience where it was like it was the first time I was really going to the VA like in 2014, 15, like and first time actually kind of speaking out about the mental health stuff I was going through a couple of years after the fact, and I was having sleep problems and stuff like that, and just like you said, I mean the first thing that was offered to me was medication and stuff like that, and that's the default that always happens first, and Yeah, and I'm still working through the stuff I'm working through. But I was walking out, and I remember there was this old ass dude who was a Navy Seabee. He was probably like 72 years old. He had one of the Navy. He had like an engraved cane for the Seabees, so he's one of those guys with the hat and stuff, real salt dog. And I was standing next to him outside, and he's like, you could get a medical marijuana card in this state. And I was like, huh, oh, you can, huh? And then and so word spreads through the system either way, man.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
it's been
saying?
facts, dude. It's 100% true, dude. Like, I'll tell you the truth, like, it's been hard, like, after my incident, I'm getting sick with my dilemma I have. Like, I stopped drinking. I used to fucking down bottles, bro. Like, I used to love that shit. Because I say to everyone, the military taught me how to fucking party.
Yeah.
So, like, now, like, to stop my anxiety, I'll go up, smoke some wax or some dabs, and then fucking chill out, man. Like, it helps out a lot, like, with my... I'm always overthinking, like, look, like, I messaged you 1,000 times trying to, like, thinking you were worrying about us starting late, and, like, you were just, dude, it's okay, all we got is
Yeah,
time,
so I was
bro.
like,
Like,
no, dude, no
like,
worries. Yeah.
so, like, I'm the one that, like, panic. I don't want to call myself a perfectionist because I'm far from it, but, like, in my mind, like, I'm always nonstop racing 100%, like, 100 miles per hour, trying to figure things out. Like, I was sitting at the table, like, writing notes, writing my outro, writing my intro, and half the time I don't even follow it. Like, as you can see, like, my intro today, like, I have a whole written down, I just didn't follow it because, like, I'm such a person that's, like,
Yeah.
I know when time comes, I'm better at winging it. But like with my mindset, like I'm like, oh, stay prepped, stay prepped. But I think this is the military. I mean, like, that's the infantry. Like we're always prepped, and then like we're always ready to fucking wing it if we have to wing it. You know?
Yeah, you're always thinking forward too. But have you so how about breathing exercises? You ever try breathing exercises, dude?
No, dude. See, like this is what I
Yo,
want to pick your mind because I see the meditation shit. Like, and dude, like trust me, like I have a whole den that like I try to say is my meditation, hooked onto my room, and like my roommates are huge on that. They literally have one of the bigger rooms in our house dedicated to the meditation den. So like me, like I just think like I don't know how to meditate. Like it's weird, dude. Like I don't know how to do like yoga or anything like that. So like most of the time it's just me sitting, like I light some fucking incense, I have my fucking crystals, and I just relax. Like I try to just chill, but like I don't know if I'm doing it right. So then I get a complex, like oh, I'm just being a weirdo sitting
yeah.
here. So like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I started meditating in March of this year, March or April, and I got to this point where like I was kind of like racing towards like not bottom, but I was like super I had just spent a year and a half trying to like get this CBD skincare company up. Like I was leaving, I was a year out of work. And then on top of that, I have a financial podcast as well, the nonconformist.io. We get the link in my Joe Rap TV website. So I had been covering a lot of the economy going to this year is super stressful, dude. And like, and I put off like therapy for like 2 years. I was going to therapy for the PTSD stuff religiously at Central. It was help when I was going to college. It was kind of helped me out. Put it off for a long time. Got into this year and was very quickly realizing that like I needed to do something or else it just wasn't like it wasn't going to work out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then started meditating, but didn't really know how to meditate like you said. The only thing that I've gotten down is like it's just about like focusing on one sensation or one stimuli. But the breathing exercises, dude, you might really like trying just the breathing exercises because breathing exercises could also be it's breathing and meditation go one on one. I've learned like it's like in meditation they tell you to breathe, and when you learn these breathing exercises, you do meditation with it. I've been doing the Wim Hof method, dude. They say through these exercises you activate your natural DMT, and I really think that's a real thing. I've been
Really?
more high than I've ever been in my life off of breathing exercises than I've ever been on any drug. And it's like the only thing that I found that has relieved my stress so much that I like with work and stuff, I was taking Vyvanse for a stimulant, And this breathing exercises got me to the
What is
point
this?
where I was
What is
able
this
to
called?
just completely relax myself.
I'm literally gonna write this down. What is this called?
Yeah, dude. I think everyone needs to hear about it because it's serious. It's like a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, so what is it called?
It's the one I was doing specifically is the Wim Hof method. Wim WIMHOF. Wim Hof. He was on Joe Rogan twice, so if anyone loves Joe Rogan, they can also watch him on there. But you look him up, you find out that this guy from Poland's got all these crazy records. Like he's got but they're cold related records. He's got the longest time in ice. He climbed Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest in shorts, halfway up Mount Everest in shorts. And pretty much what the guy did is he just realized how to incorporate meditation, breathing into endurance exercises and endurance sports. And that's what he teaches now is breathing exercises. And what you do through them is you're really you're doing 30 deep breaths and you're filling your body with oxygen. So you're not really hyperventilating, but you're just flooding the body with oxygen, and you're exhaling on the last one, and you're able to hold your breath for a minute, 2 minutes or so, and you can hold your breath longer than you think you can because you're able to store more oxygen in the body. These competition divers do the same kind of exercise to like before they go underneath water, and then at the end you take a deep breath in, and then he has you squeeze towards your head. And when you do this squeezing, they've actually been able to figure out now from an actual chemical level, you're releasing all of these stress hormones in your body. So adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol. And that's when I'm telling you, you feel like you're literally on DMT. It's at that moment. And apparently, this has been taught for thousands of years through meditation practices in India and stuff. And this is how people are able to actually tap into the autonomic nervous system and control a lot of this anti-inflammatory and bodily functions. But yeah, dude, stress reliever. I would look it up. I would try it. You can go on YouTube and you can do it for free. He just has like courses to give away and stuff like that. But
Awesome, dude.
the breathing with the meditation is really good. That's a really good thing to be doing.
Yeah, I gotta pick up something, man. Like I need to calm myself. You know, like I don't want to use anything to calm myself. I'm a huge anti drug kind of person now. But like I need something like, cause I have anxiety every day. Like when I wake up, it's like chronic anxiety. Dude. Like I'm always like wondering what to do. Always like stressing myself out, and I know it's on me. Like I know 100% it's on me. And if I could find something that calm myself down, I'd be golden. So like, dude, I've heard about these. I've heard about like a 7-4-3 breathing thing.
4-7-9 or 4-7-8.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
I looked at. Is that a good one? Or okay.
That is a good one. Yeah. So the 4-7-8 is Andrew Weil. Dr. Andrew Weil is the one that I've heard that one from. And dude, you would probably like this book too. So he wrote a book, Andrew Weil. It's crazy you said that about the 4-7-8 because when you were that last line that you just said, I was going to bring up this book that I read by him. It's called The Natural Mind. He wrote it in 1970 or 1972, and he went to Harvard Med in 1960 when Timothy Leary was there and the LSD experiments were going on.
Yeah.
And that's when the government was really learning about psychedelics and what they do and learning about the subconscious mind and all this other shit. But this book that Andrew Weil wrote called The Natural Mind talks about drugs and drug addiction and drug use and altered states of consciousness. And essentially what he said is that like humans have a natural desire to alter their states of consciousness. And we see it as early as adolescence, like kids in grade school playing the pass out game and huffing glue and all this some weird shit that, like, they're like little kids and they're doing it innocently, but like they're naturally desired to alter their state of consciousness. And so number one, people shouldn't really feel ashamed to like alter their state of consciousness. But number two, he says, is when you know that, you could look at drugs in general and then decide which ones from a physiological perspective are bad for the body compared to which ones are good. And then maybe you decide to do the better ones that are there. But he with that, he was just talking about how oh shit, I lost my thought there too.
It's all good. So like,
yes.
So what is the whole 8, the 4, 7, 8?
Okay, the 4, 7, 8. Yeah. So all right. So the 4, and then real quick with what I was just gonna say there. So Andrew Weil, at the end of the book, what he wanted people to know is that like any drug that you take, people think that they just consume it and then the way that they start feeling is because they consume the drug. But what they don't realize is that like the only way that they could feel those effects from that drug is because it actually exists within us. And he teaches about ways that people can get high naturally through breathing exercises, through meditation, where you can achieve those same desired states of consciousness through drug use, whatever it is, but on your own. And then that led me into more about learning about the breathing exercises and meditation, because and I've learned now through his breathing exercises and through Wim Hof that that's true. But his breathing exercise is the 4, 7, 8, and it's 4 rounds of breathing in through your nose. So the whole time you have your tongue on the back of your teeth at the top of your mouth, like that. So when you're breathing in and when you're doing this whole thing, you keep your tongue on the top of your mouth just like that. And that's considered this yogi position where your body is fully connected in one. And what you do is you exhale completely to start, and then you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. You hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you breathe out through your mouth for 8 seconds. And when you're breathing out through your mouth, you're keeping your tongue on your teeth there, on the back of your teeth. So you form this kind of like blowing out through your mouth.
That's awesome. Like, I never thought that you can get these feelings from just breathing. Like, I know about like runner's high and stuff like that. Like, but I never thought that.
Dude,
I gotta look into this more, bro. Dude, like, this is what I mean. Like, this is why I need guys like you in my life, dude. Like, because I would have never. I wrote all that down. I'm gonna probably right after this order that book, dude. Like, because I definitely need to learn more about this, dude.
The natural mind, and then the breathing exercises, the Wim Hof breathing exercises for the stress relief. That's what I would say. The 2 of those are like that would definitely be the big thing that I would say for people, and definitely for you. Yeah,
definitely, dude. Because I think using these methods are better than like going and finding drugs to relieve the stress. I think it's a better way, definitely, for you save money, and it's better for veterans. You know what I mean? Like, definitely, so they're not getting addicted. Like, I'm gonna look into this because I need something. And dude, like, that's fucking awesome, bro. Thank you for educating me on this stuff, because like I would have never thought that, dude.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah.
So we're about up to our time for the hour, though, dude. So I want to thank you for being on my podcast, and it means the world to me. Everybody, go check out his website. This man is amazing. He's doing big things for the veteran community, and it means the world to me. Dude, you want to put any plugs in before I do my outro?
Yeah, no. So thank you again, and thanks for having me on the podcast, man. JoeRapTV.com or on Twitter, JoeRapTV. That's literally my melting pot of content. So I got I got courses that'll be going up on there, crypto content, mushroom content, all this other stuff. So the breathing exercises. So, I look forward to, maybe in the future, in a couple months, we could jump back on, connect
Yeah,
again.
dude.
But thank
Yeah,
you
bro.
again for having me on. It's been good connecting again, bro.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And with that being said, everyone stay majestic as fuck. I read a quote today that says, like the moon, I've learned to be beautiful in my darkness. So people, be beautiful in their darkness. We're all here for you. Stay majestic as fuck. Go check out my boy's website, Joe Rap TV. Love you guys. Peace out, Joe.
Peace, bro.